All right, so today I am doing one of my favorite things to do, which is make sous vide deep fried turkey. This is, in my mind, almost the only way to eat turkey. It's by far my favorite. It's a good way to use a utility turkey. You can see this one that I picked up here is missing a wing. Pardon me, I don't really care about that at all because wing weight is probably the worst weight on the bird anyway. So, first thing I need to do is just break it down into parts. If you're not feeding a lot of people, if it's just for a couple of people, you could probably just go buy a turkey breast or whatever and then kind of skip this step. But by using a whole turkey, not only do I have a variety of meats that I'll be able to serve, but I'll also wind up making, being able to make gravy with some of the offcuts like the wing tips and the giblets and stuff like that. But I'll also wind up making turkey stock with the carcass. So it goes a long way. So the first step I'm going to do here is just start to break down the bird a little bit. Parts that I don't need, just using my super sweet semi-flex boning knife. So I've got that wingtip off there, and that's just going in this crock pot, and that's how we'll be making the gravy in here. So I'm going to kind of basically make a stock by adding water to that and letting it simmer during the full sous vide process, and then reduce it down. So now I just want to take off the legs, which will then free up the breast. Just trying to find the joints, find those natural division points for the bird, and everything kind of releases once you get around those bones. So I'm just going to wind up putting the parts all over there. Now to get off the thigh, what I need to do is try and cut around the carcass here somewhat, get the skin out of the way, and kind of trace the meat down, and you can find this bone here where the thigh actually connects to the rest of the bird. Just cut down around here. Try not to stab my counter. And slice through the rest of the skin. And then, once any connective tissue is toasted, there you go. I'm going to put these over here for now, but I am actually also going to bone out the thigh. I find then you can kind of roll it up a little bit and it just makes for a nicer piece because you can just slice it like you can the breast. I'm also going to remove the wing while I'm on this side, just to get it out of the way so it's not flopping around. So again, just finding the joint where it attaches and popping it out. Which of course is always easier when you're not on video. Here's the joint there. Try not to hack through too much of the breast. See? So I'll pop that off. Now, spin around and remove the other leg. I've got some of that liquid that, of course, is almost impossible to get rid of. Left over from the thawing process. Let's get rid of that. Okay, leg number 2. Slice through that skin. Come down. Kind of feel the division there between the thigh and the leg. Come up and essentially just try to find the bone joint there. Take a bit more of that meat. Here. This would all be a little bit easier if the person did it more than twice a year. But there we go. Second leg off. And you just kind of cut through this skin down here. And we are at the point of removing the second thigh. So just by doing that, you can see the joints right there already. So I'm just gonna dig my knife in there. These boning knives are really, really awesome for this because they just slide around. You can work your way around a bone because of how they'll move. Okay, now that I've got that, I'm actually going to take this bone out. It's really easy because you're just connecting the dots between this joint and this joint. And then, especially with this knife, I can kind of just curve around it. I'm not super worried about if I cut a little bit, like I cut a touch into here and a touch into here. That's fine because I'm going to be rolling this whole thing up as one piece of meat for when it cooks in the sous vide. And as it's cooking like that, it'll actually kind of wind up just mainly binding together. It'll almost be like it never happened. So there's this, that'll be able to go on for the stock. And see, so the goal when I go to wrap it is I'm going to just kind of just wrap it up in a little roll like this. Super slippery. It'll be something kind of like that. So I'll do that after. Okay. Now down to the breast. So I'm just going to find that breastbone, and with this knife just kind of follow it down, trying not to miss too much of the meat as I go. Go up to the top there, and also just kind of follow it down. I don't mind taking my time with this part because this is usually the most prized part of the turkey. Now, having removed those other parts, the legs, I don't really have anything in my way once I get down here, which is nice because then I can just keep carving until I hit the cutting board. Just take it off like so. Okay, and there we go. So I've got one breast over here. And I will take the other one off here as well. This. It's always right around now that I ask myself why I'm not wearing my no-cut gloves. Okay, almost through here. Spin it for easier access. Okay, and there was part of this wing actually hiding up in there, so I wound up chipping off a little bit of that bone, so obviously I'll get that out of the way. Yeah, so probably clean that up just a little bit. I obviously don't need all of that skin on here, so I'll just trim this off. And put this over here. I'll just bone out that other thigh, and then I'll be ready to salt and pepper that stuff and move on to the next step. Alright, so I've got everything kind of laid out here, and I've got my bags set up. So in these bags I've got our little flavor bombs, and what they are is at the end of every growing season we take any of our leftover herbs that we still have in the greenhouse and we just puree them with some olive oil and freeze them in little pucks. So we've got these in here. It's just going to be a great way to get some nice flavor into the turkey as it cooks in the sous vide. So next step here is to just season the meat. This is just a blend of kosher salt and some fresh cracked pepper. Just going to throw some of that on there, and then I will flip it and get it onto the other side. Okay, so I'll just quickly flip. And season. I don't know if you can hear that sound. I have no idea what the children are doing upstairs, but it's probably terrifying. This is one of the downsides of being stuck here making all this sweet food. Okay, so we got all right. Just get a little bit more of it on there. Make sure those breasts. There's a lot of meat that will absorb the salt. Okay, perfect. So those are all good. So now the trick is just to get them into the bags. I have these sort of set up in several different sizes. So I'm just going to get the rest into here. I like to roll my vacuum seal bags up around the edges, and that way it's easier to get stuff into them without getting your raw meat residue all over the outside of the bag. This makes handling a lot easier. So I'm just going to package these all up into these bags, get them positioned, and then vacuum seal. Alright, so now I'm just down to the last one, which is my second of the two thighs, and all I'm going to do is just kind of roll it a little bit like this, and then it's going to wind up basically being skin all the way around, which after the deep fry is going to be beautiful and crispy and delectable. So I'll just kind of tuck it in there like that. So I'll just finish positioning them all. The breasts I do like to take and do my best to make sure that the skin is kind of stretched around the full piece. Again, it's just for presentation and even distribution of the favorite part of the turkey. You can see all of the turkey pieces are beautifully packaged. I've got them vacuum sealed. I did a double seal on each end of the bags just to help prevent any possible opening of them, because that would make a huge mess in my precision cooker hot water bath. So I just had it up a little bit higher than I actually need, just because the water temperature will undoubtedly drop when I add all of this meat to it. So now it is time to get them in there. Hot tub time. Alright, so I'm going to put them in now. I really like these clips here. It just helps keep everything locked in place. You'll see how that works in a second. So I'm just going to find room for all of these in here. So as I put them in, I'm just going to start to add those clips, just to help lock everything down so that it doesn't try and come up on me or anything like that. Put these breasts in here too, considering they're the largest thing in there. One turkey is about all I can fit. This is a 4-gallon stock pot that I've got. Much more than this, and there would be trouble actually getting the water to keep flowing around and actually reaching all of the meat effectively. So there we go. As you can see, everything's in there and in place. See, that went from, it was almost 65.5 down to just a hair under where I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to give these about 3 hours at the 63 Celsius, and that's going to be a good amount of time just to make sure everything's cooked. Obviously not overdone. That is the beauty of the precision cooker. So see you guys later. It's time to go clean up. Alrighty, it's been 3 hours. This turkey has been cooking beautifully all this time. I now need to get my turkey fryer set up so we can get this going, and I'll be back to pick these guys up as soon as I have that nice and hot. Alright, so time to get the turkey fryer set up. I'm going to have the fryer with this awesome basket. The parts will all go into that, but the first thing I need to do is just get the oil in there. So I've got this 20-liter, I think it's 20 liters, jug of oil I picked up at the grocery store. It's way cheaper when you buy it in this quantity. Just gonna get that all in there. Nice, look, just enough. Beautiful. I'm gonna set my basket in there so that it is also preheated, as everything else is. Just need to fire up the actual fryer now. There we go. Thought my lighter was going to fail me for a minute. Okay, I'll get the thermometer in there and I will be back when this is around 380 degrees or 375. Alright, so I've pulled everything out of the sous vide. I'm now opening the bags and pulling out the pieces of turkey. Now, this is the most unfortunate point of the entire process, simply because everything right now is really anemic. It looks like it's been boiled. Not particularly appetizing right now. However, that is going to change right away. This meat is cooked absolutely perfectly, and I'm just gonna pat everything off and then get it into the deep fryer. So stay tuned for some awesome deep fry action. So as per the thermometer here, everything's getting nice and hot. In fact, it's nearing the flash point for canola oil, but that's not a problem, not a concern right now. What we're going to do is add, actually first I'm going to crank up the heat all the way because it's about to drop quite a bit when all this meat goes in. So I'm going to start off, let's get in a leg here. How about a wing? All right, I'm just going to set it in. And I'm going to try to move the meat around a few seconds after I put it in, just so the skin doesn't get stuck to the bottom of this basket. The nice thing about deep frying this that's different from just straight up deep frying a turkey is that you know that your meat is already fully cooked and just the way that it needs to be, other than getting crisped up. So you're not worried about internal temperature or anything like that. I'm just going to get all of them in there. I will then quickly, just using a little hook attachment here, whoo, steamy, kind of spin everything a little bit, which helps make sure that nothing's stuck together. And I'm going to give it about 4 minutes, and then I'll lift it up and take a look. If it's all golden brown, then we're good. If not, maybe another minute or so. So it's been a couple of minutes. It's definitely not going to be ready yet. Starting to brown up a little bit though. I've got the heat on this fryer cranked just because of that temperature drop, but as you can see, it's still frying at a good boil there, so that's awesome. All right, one thing I should point out is the beautiful Calgary weather that we've got going on here. It is Easter Sunday and we've got snow. Fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so the meat is good. I just checked it, so what I'm going to do is just quickly turn off the fryer, turn off the propane tank, and start to get this meat out. All right, so let's take a peek here. Look at that turkey breast, huh? Beautiful. So we're gonna get all this meat out here and take a peek at it inside in just a sec. All right, so here we are. We're just cutting up the meat right now. So this is one of those beautiful chicken thighs that we had rolled up before so that there's skin all the way around. I like to use the electric knife on it. It just works really quickly and efficiently to cut through it. Look at that meat. Just beautiful, beautiful thigh. It's boneless, so it's just easy to cut up and eat. And now we'll take a peek at this breast right here. Okay, so. Okay, so let's take a peek at this turkey breast right here. Look at that. It's just beautiful. It's moist. It's fantastic. This is the best way to eat turkey. So I'm just going to put it right on here and check out that beautiful platter. Sous vide deep fried turkey. We'll never go back. This is keeping it at 11. Seriously, look at this. I got that stuff out just in time. Canada.